A message of hope for all on Good Friday. 3 injured after a hit-and-run vehicle interrupts Stations of the Cross. And National Softball Championships kicks off in Port Moresby.
This is National EMTV News with Hope Imaka.
Hello and thank you for joining us with the news on this Good Friday. It was a message of hope that Catholics in Lae City tried to convey today as they walked in a Good Friday Stations of the Cross procession from the back road area to the city centre. Close to 2,000 Catholics in Lae rose early this morning to mark the day when, according to tradition, Jesus Christ was whipped and later crucified. The annual event brought together Papua New Guineans from all walks of life and is being celebrated around the world.
This was a crowd smaller than in previous years, but no less passionate about their faith. Waking up early in the morning, the Catholic faithful, numbering close to 2,000, began walking from Kamkumung. They reached Chinatown by 7 a.m. A rugged cross made from logs carried by parishioners made up the central piece. It was the usual Good Friday procession, Stations of the Cross marking, according to Catholic tradition, the important points on the path that Jesus took before being crucified. Amidst the political and economic turmoil in the country, Catholics have remained focused on their faith. It has been this social glue that has bound the church's 2 million members in Papua New Guinea. Today, there was a message of hope, focus on the leadership, character and teachings of Jesus Christ so that it provides the basis of ethical behavior.
Oneness and trubla. No got one bla brook. You see me brook passing. I'm no Christ way.
The Catholic Church has been a voice for many who have suffered in terms of poor health services and education. In recent decades, bishops have spoken out about the dangerous political trends. But today it was about Jesus Christ and faith, the things that bind their communities together. Scott Wide, National EMTV News, Lae.
The Stations of the Cross in Port Moresby was interrupted with a hit-and-run vehicle injuring 3 people. 2 male and a female were severely injured and are currently receiving medical treatment at the Port Moresby General Hospital. Attempts by police to capture the driver were unsuccessful.
According to the Boroko Traffic and Accident Squad, the vehicle driver is believed to be under the influence of alcohol. He was speeding at the back of the faithful who were walking the Station of the Cross, expecting them to clear the road and for him to pass through. According to eyewitnesses, a male in his late 50s was unfortunate to be the first victim.
So me tane me looking kara kame me pushing family blow me Mrs. blow me on them baby blow me go side now. Me la tanim looking kara ba owe me tanim strete meet him lapon mana.
They were not prepared for that to happen, having in mind the traffic unit will control the pedestrian.
Me pla come traffic even got all traffic officers lo roundabout. Okay, group me pla crowd them come but lo side lo road lo tabari because all lines the backside street lo me pla all to them car come out lo tabari.
The traffic and accident unit said the driver must have come to his conscious when he hit the second male and the female. He then drove away quickly. Police chased the vehicle but could not catch him. They managed to get his registration plate number. Pasinata YAMA, National EMTV News.
In his message, leader of the Catholic Church, Pope Francis, has called on all Christians to observe Good Friday. Pope Francis says Good Friday commemorates the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, his passion and suffering, and quotes, Jesus also experiences in his own flesh indifference, since no one wishes to take responsibility for his fate. I am thinking of so many other people, so many marginalized people, so many asylum seekers, so many refugees. There are so many who don't want to take responsibility for their destiny. Lay Metropolitan Commander Anthony Wagambi is calling on the general public to observe the true meaning of Easter. Wagambi made this call as police in Lay began special operations to ensure a peaceful Easter celebration in Moresby province.
Lay Metropolitan Commander Superintendent Anthony Wagambi said more than 300 officers in all the units are involved in the operations. Police will be conducting random roadblocks as well as normal police operations in and around the city. The operation started yesterday and will continue throughout the Easter period.
Those people who would like to, who may cause trouble, no kind of about, the police will deal with them. Will be on the street.
Wagambi is making a call to the general public to celebrate this Easter period in a peaceful manner. He adds this is the time to go to church as this is a Christian holiday period. Police will be out in full force and those caught drunk and disorderly will be dealt with accordingly. Mata Luis, National EMTV News, Lay.
The death of a student at St. Mary's Turingi Primary School in East Sepik Province this week is a reminder of the great parental responsibilities. Head teacher Dominic Sariwa told MTV News the school was saddened after learning the deceased was not brought for medical treatment on time that resulted on his death. Fabian Hakelitz visited the school and files this report.
On a visit on Wednesday to St. Mary's Turingi Primary School, we had a stopover because there were students carrying a casket in a procession. After inquiring, MTV was told the deceased, a grade 5 student, Malachi Imric, passed away on Tuesday from illness. I was saddened to hear about his death that raised concerns on parental responsibilities. Head teacher Dominic Sariwa claimed the student died because of negligence.
The parents must take their part to feed the children properly. The children must have rest properly. When they are feeling sick, they must attend to the health facilities as soon as possible. Because the health service here is the best health services to be had in the South Lake. The nurses are working very hard and they don't turn any patients away.
The student's death was shocking and uncalled for when term 1 of the academic year ended this week. It's a matter of concern, Sariwa says, for parents and guardians to seriously consider ensuring children are healthy.
Sick, we must make sure we take them to the hospital. We must not ignore them and tell them, you go down and do it yourself. No. Children are children. They cannot walk down to the hospital. We must take the opportunity, the responsibility to take them to the hospital so that they are being treated properly, so that they can remain healthy and then continue on with their schooling.
Mr. Sariwa said children are priority and called on parents and guardians to be more responsible. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
An Easter gift for the women of Yanguru Sausia in East Sepik Province. First, a new resource center that will help facilitate training for the enhancement of knowledge and skills to better living conditions. And not only that, but Yanguru Sausia is the 8th member in Papua New Guinea affiliated to the Country Women's Association. Associated Country Women of the World President Ruth Shanks was in the district and officiated at the event. Fabian Hakelitz with tonight's special report.
Women folk of Yanguru Sausia in East Sepik Province have a reason to celebrate. On Monday this week, Yakimbole village in Yanguru Sausia played host to the Associated Country Women of the World President Ruth Shanks and the Australian delegation.
That we have a world leader of some kind to come to this corner of Papua New Guinea, especially to Yanguru Sausia and East Yanguru.
The membership conversation began in 2013 after Gertrude Andreas, who formed the Jiwaka branch, also saw the need for women to make a difference.
Country Women Association of Yanguru Sausia will work in collaboration with the District Development Authority of Yanguru Sausia District to serve the purpose and the plan of the district.
The focus is to help women create avenues and to realize their own potentials, from skills training to microfinance banking for sustainability.
Most of the time we think with our head and we forget to think with our heart. If you want to become a member of the Country Women Association, you need to start to change to think within your heart. This is where you will see the changes coming through. Do your family first and then it will go to another person.
District Women's Council President Wendy Havango said the women wanted equity, and with the resource center, this will assist them to actively participate in community development activities. Local MP Richard Morrow was acknowledged for supporting women's programs, animated also through a drama.
With the establishment of this resource center, I strongly believe our elected leader, the Honorable Richard Morrow, will assist in his capacity to support and empower the women and girls to meaningfully contribute to the development of the district and fight poverty and literacy to enhance quality of life and restore confidence in our human folk.
The resource centre was built with funding assistance from CWA Queensland, Australia through Kristen King.
Agriculture and your homes and your energy, and I know that you're going to make this CWA group a great success. And I'm honoured to be here. I'm humbled actually by the work that you do, and I can't wait to see the roof.
Ruth Shanks, Associated Country Women of the World President, congratulated the women for their outstanding leadership in their families. And to make this happen, it requires partnership, men and women working together.
Give you the skills to enable you to make your community better. First of all, to make your family better. Secondly, to make your community better. And thirdly, to make this country of Papua New Guinea a better place to live.
The District Development Authority, with the current political support, will work closely with the Women's Association to promote gender equity, and that will be done through partnership.
But under Richard Morrow and his DDA, we are seeing a different light. We are seeing new promises. And we understand, as an administrator working for them, I get so much excitement sitting in the DDA, seeing the depth of the intelligence, seeing the depth of the discussion in wisdom, and how they feel and talk about you women.
The Resource Center was officially opened by Associated Country Women of the World President Ruth Shanks.
And then
Fabian Haklitz, National MTV News.
National MTV News continues with other local stories this Good Friday. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill has warned people involved in the sabotage of telecommunication cables in Papua New Guinea that they will be prosecuted. Since 2014, there has been an increase in vandalism of telecom's fiber optic lines or cables in multiple areas of Port Moresby and Lae. The recent incident happened on Tuesday this week at Badili and Gordon's Industrial in the nation's capital.
The Prime Minister has warned those who inspired others to damage the cables will also be prosecuted. Mr. O'Neill said some individuals are known and are believed to be facilitating the vandalism of telecommunication lines. Mr. O'Neill said many people have become victims, including business houses. In the last incident, Telecom NCD Regional Business Manager Billy Vartovo confirmed landline services as well as the internet data services were affected.
The hospitals, the police, the ambulances, all the essential services that are affected by this, ordinary people are affected.
The extent of damages may take Telecom a week to restore these services. However, Mr. Watovo said the restoration to the vandalized cables was progressing well. Police Commissioner Gary Baki is tasked by PM to form an investigation team to look into the matter. Vasinata YAMA, National EMTV News.
Papua New Guineans are not seen fit to run state-owned entities due to nepotism and regionalism, says State Enterprise Minister William Duma. The minister responsible said there's no industrial issues within PNG Power Limited, but its management. Minister Duma made these statements following questions on recent reshuffles within PPL management and board, with subsequent union actions.
The past 2 weeks has seen dramas among state-owned entities sounding alarms to stop work and petitioning the national government over issues. Two of them, PNG Power Limited and Telecom PNG, rallied seeking urgent response from the Prime Minister. Yesterday in Parliament, Southern Highlands Governor William Powie questioned the national government about the recent changes in PNG Power's board and management.
I felt it is important for the state minister who is responsible for these organizations to inform the people of Papua New Guinea as well as us, honorable members of parliament, what is happening to PNG Power.
The minister responsible said changes were done because of the incompetency by Papua New Guineans in managing the state businesses.
Unfortunately, over the last 40 years, when our own people have been in charge, there is nothing good to show for it. We have appointed our own people to manage the important institution, and we have failed ourselves miserably. Mr. Speaker, although PNG Power has always enjoyed monopoly, in situations where a company enjoys monopoly, naturally, you would expect it to make profit. Unfortunately,
on the related matter, Bulolo MP and Deputy Opposition Leader Sam Basil questioned Minister Duma if the decision was under the Kumul Holdings Limited laws.
Will the minister admit that appointments of the PNG Power Board breached the provisions of Section 12 of the Kumul Corporate Holdings Act?
Minister Duma responded, stating proper procedures were followed before making the decision.
These are public institutions and these are responsible government, and anything to do with state institutions will have to be canvassed by Parliament and Cabinet and many other stakeholders. So this is not an hidden agenda of the O'Neill government, Mr. Speaker.
The government is yet to respond to the petitions presented by the coalition of unions this week. Jagla Pavet Jr., National EMTV News.
PNG Trade Union Congress General Secretary John Pasca says he is appalled to see union meetings being used for political reasons rather than industrial issues. He was referring to PNG Power Limited's civil strike. He says union leaders should take proper constructive actions in proper dialogue with leaders to deal with issues at hand. Pasca called on workers to return to their duties.
But there's no cause for you to go and destroy property, destroy state assets that inconvenience the livelihood of people. Where does that take you? Grantal members who are voicing concerns over the termination of Mr. Tangit, over Mr. Mangos's reinstatement. Due process is handling both, and at some point in time it's going to be resolved amicably, and it's the job of leaders at the board and at the political level to ensure that we return to normalcy and all these things are addressed peacefully and are resolved to the satisfaction of all. We are not going to get all of what you want, but at the end of the day, let's respect authority also.
Port Moresby City has been experiencing power outages for more than 6 hours every day since Wednesday morning. PNG Power Limited advised customers through a media statement that a load-shedding exercise was being carried out due to shortfall in the capacity to generate power and problems at its feeders at Waigani and Baroko substations. These problems have occurred at a time when PNG Power Management and its union are facing problems. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill has warned the management and union to stop the constant power outages in Port Moresby and Lae. He said there was more than enough power generated to meet the demands of 2 cities. He said the lack of maintenance on machines was the root cause. The national government continues to spend hundreds of millions of kina annually on rental payments. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill made the comment in Parliament this week when responding to a question about the possible relocation of government departments to the recently refurbished Central Government Office in Port Moresby. Mr. O'Neill agreed that the government will gain significant savings as a result of this move.
During questions without notice in Parliament on Thursday, Tuave MP Wera Mori asked the Prime Minister to indicate if government departments scattered around the city would be relocated to the revamped Central Government Office in Waigani. Mr. Mori said that most government departments were housed in the original Central Government Office during the 1970s and the immediate years after independence.
The government is working one talk. Now ask him all get the government department, the ministers, the relocate come back in long central government office now Waigani only rehabilitate him long end. So that you can save him just like 250 to 300 million kina every year.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill said the government spends between 125 million kina and 130 million kina annually on rentals. With the relocation of key government departments and agencies to this newly refurbished Central Government Office, it is expected that the government will save up to 30 million kina annually.
Yes, I agree that it's costing the government 250 million kina a year. And of course, there's been a long-held dream by many governments that everybody should move back into Waigani.
The Prime Minister said since his government took office, it has seen the renovation of 3 government buildings, Morauta House, the Pineapple Building, and the Central Government Office, all in the Waigani area. The newly renovated Central Government Building will be officially opened next Wednesday, March 30th.
Now, these 3 buildings will now save us close to, my estimation is about 50 to 75 million kina. So, Mr. Speaker, next Wednesday, all our public servants, I think agriculture, public service, all the others who are scattered everywhere will be starting to move back, and the savings will be enormous.
He told Parliament that the money saved from rentals will be used to build more government buildings to centralize all government services in one location. Parliament was adjourned to 2 p.m. Tuesday, the 29th of March 2016. Delhi Waigeno, National, MTV News.
More on the Parliament sitting. In the absence of the Public Service Minister, the Prime Minister was asked about public servants getting extra allowances. Tuave MP Wera Mori asked about certain officers from the Mineral Policy and Geohazards Management Department who paid themselves allowances following the completion of the Wafi Golpu state negotiations. Mr. O'Neill said the matter will be investigated and those found guilty of getting extra allowances will be dealt with by authorities.
Mr. Mori asked the Prime Minister to clarify if the alleged hefty allowances to officers from the Department of Mineral Policy and Geohazards Management were part of their contracts at the conclusion of the state negotiations on the Wafi Golpu project.
The information that I have, the money amounted to probably close to 1 million kina or so. And my simple question is it part of the contract of employment for themselves to be paid such exhibition fees for concluding such state negotiations?
Mr. O'Neill said although he was aware of state negotiations, he was not aware of the extra allowances.
No, we have not approved any extra allowance for them to be paid for this. In NEC, there is no extra allowance for anybody. They are already paid state employees.
The Prime Minister assured the House that investigations would be conducted.
So Mr. Speaker, I will certainly ask the Minister and his department to investigate this, and if we find that those allowances have been paid to these officials, we will get the necessary agencies of government to prosecute them and of course, try and recover those funds.
Delhi Waigeno, National, MTV News.
SP Foundation, as part of its community service obligation, will sponsor civil servants to enhance their capacity training. A memorandum of agreement to allow this has been signed with the Personnel Management Department. Over 14,000 public civil servants will benefit from the scholarship package.
The SP Foundation has entered into an agreement with the Personnel Management Department to help boost the public service machinery with capacity building. Part of its commitment is to sponsor public civil servants to broaden their knowledge and skills in public administration. Managing Director Stan Joyce says an initial 200,000 kina has been committed for the scholarship.
The board came to the conclusion that we could work with the government of Papua New Guinea to provide scholarships for people to go through a special program to enable people to understand the public administration's work that needed to be required, and those people who study that administration will then go out into the wider community and be responsible for administration in the 86 different districts throughout Papua New Guinea. And that's just again another commitment that the brewery has to working in partnership with the government to improve governance in Papua New Guinea.
Personnel Management Department Secretary John Cully said this was the first time a PNG private company has established partnership with a government department in areas of capacity building.
So this government really fully appreciates the support from the SP brewery because in terms of the transformation of a number of our training institutions, and particularly the PNG IPA to become the School of Government, we are now changing the face of the programs that we are delivering at the PNG IPA. And so this is a timely support, because we will be able now to tailor-make and customize a lot of our programs so that we can support public servants.
Mr. Kali added this will not only boost the public civil servants, but also the confidence to effectively carry out their duties.
Papua New Guinea Public Service has been under a fair bit of criticism. So instead of going back and answering the critics, the best way to answer the critics is to move forward.
The scholarship will be offered at the PNG Institution of Public Administration in Waigani, National Capital District. Merlin Diaukatam, National EMTV News.
Among stories making headlines, Madang businessman Peter YAMA to reopen a court case over his 2013 by-election count. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. Buimo Clinic, located at Lay's Housing Commission suburb, has recorded a rise in tuberculosis cases. An average of 20 new cases are being found 3 times a week. That has added to the current confirmed cases of 648. The ratio of health workers to patients is 2 to over 80. The increase in statistics has been attributed to incomplete treatment, lack of awareness, and HIV/AIDS. Cases of family and sexual violence in Gulf Province will be properly monitored with improved facilities, and victims now have a private room to openly discuss their stories that will help law enforcing agencies to properly deal with cases involved. This follows the commissioning of a new family sexual violence unit in Kerema, jointly funded by the Australian government and the Gulf Provincial Government.
The opening of the Family Sexual Violence Unit is the 18th step in addressing family sexual violence in the country. Representing Australian High Commission, Minister Councillor Rod Hilton said at the opening that since the unit opened in Port Moresby as a pilot project, it has helped over 40,000 women and children.
Not only do we need law and justice outcomes, but we also need to make sure those law and justice outcomes apply to women and children. 1,000 victims of family and sexual violence who were unable to get services before have now been able to get services. And we look forward to Kerema being able to deliver.
He said that keeping women and children safe was a priority and addressing issues of violence should be taken seriously in communities. He said to make use of the unit and report cases of violence in their communities.
Kerema FSVU, which has been built here with the support of Australia. We've also been able to provide a vehicle for the FSV unit to make sure that they're able to do the work. And I'd encourage the community to make good use of the FSVU.
Deputy Police Commissioner Jim Andrews thanked the Australian government for their help in establishing the 18th Family Sexual Violence Unit. He added that due to traditions, women and children are being seen as properties and men do as they please.
The wife and the children are seen as properties for men to do as they please. And that is the setting in our cultural law.
Andrews says that the police force was facing challenges in addressing and investigating cases of family sexual violence. But the new FSVU building and the 17 others around the country were now a constant reminder of the need for change.
There continues to be a lack of resources, both in terms of human capacity and other resource needs. We need more appropriately trained officers to deal with and respond to FSV. And in addition to this, the officers need to have access to transportation, communication facilities, and other things to enable them to respond effectively.
Adelaide Sirokskari National, MTV News.
And in a related story, the people of Kerema in Gulf Province have applauded the Australian High Commission and Gulf Provincial Administration for the great partnership that has enabled the establishment of the new Family Sexual Violence Unit. They say the facility is a need that will help to address the increased cases of domestic violence and child abuse in the province.
The new Family Sexual Violence Unit is a blessing for the Gulf people because it's a need. Owen Weiss says the facility will be the host to women and girls in the community who have fallen victims to perpetrators who have escaped the cause of justice.
These cases have gone unnoticed, unreported, and the perpetrators have got away with a lot of these problems.
Normal police investigations will be conducted that will also assist victims on the procedures in dealing with such cases. A grade 7 student of Ila Karita Primary School, Letitia Tony, said women and girls will be able to report crimes. Most times they would flee to Port Moresby to seek help. Morris Moka, who is also a student, says the unit will now help children who become victims to abusive parents and relatives.
So big thank you Australia government gimpla disla office lo kam kotiol ma.
Adelaide Sirokskari National, MTV News.
St. Mary's Turingi Primary School in East Sepik Province has applauded their local MP, Richard Maru, for his leadership that has made impacts in their community. Head teacher Dominic Sariwa said the school has been self-dependent when it comes to infrastructure development. However, for the first time under Maru's leadership, the school has been given a new double classroom. Mr. Sariwa thanked the Yangaru Sausia district under Maru's leadership for investing in the children's future, which is education. Madang businessman Peter Yama is going to the courts to reopen a case over his 2013 by-election count for the Madang open seat. Mr. Yama said new evidences have been found from the PNG Electoral Commission's records. Yama's lawyer, Ben Lomai, said there are possibilities of authorities tampering with recount figures when declaring sitting MP Nixon Duban. Mr. Yama and his lawyer filed their appeal yesterday to reopen the case over contempt charges.
52 are in favor of Mr. Yama. So in effect, this report is supposed to be put before the court, but it was not put before the court.
My lawyer will be looking into those charges. We bring this matter up. And this is why I'm taking this matter to the public in the interest of the country as a whole. And at the same time, I've reported the matter to police.
Landowners outside the 9-mile catchment of Port Moresby are questioning the lands department after a developer moved into their land. Community leaders told MTV News the property is situated on customary land and they are confused because they are still waiting for the land department to present their formal title. The two parties have confronted each other with reports of gunshots fired by a known police unit.
Land grabbing and dubious land titles is now a great concern for this community who were chased yesterday by a police unit providing security for a developer.
Oli sute mi plarana belonga pi go mi plaran gonta plo mountain. Oli ring longena la one dog unit car come.
An eyewitness said under police escort a fence was bulldozed and shots fired to chase locals.
Shooting me one stop here, not all stop.
The confrontation yesterday ended with the developer leaving two of its machines behind. Locals are concerned with the manner police are colluding with developers to serve their interest. Many expressed that Papua New Guineans are losing their own land through corrupt practices.
Because they have the political connections, they have the money connections, they have the police connections. Only come only bully lol papa ground, mama ground, picking ground.
Mr. Kayaka is calling for an investigation into the matter and says land can be developed but using legal procedures to acquire land.
Everybody wants to development. Fair enough. Everybody, people are like in development. But let's do it right.
The Savira real estate is managing the property of the landowners and settlers there are now disturbed with this situation.
The survey will make him land. That was 2014 and then only issue him title on 2015. But they already claimed him ground law 2012. Now yet people are waiting title law, kiss him. How land come in, kiss him, all got him title, no papers all coming. Maybe all coming and box and kiss him the lands or maybe no sour.
The landowners will be laying a formal complaint to the Boroko police station and concerned authorities on Monday next week. Jack Lapave Jr., National MTV News.
We bring you Trukai Sports, and that's next when we return.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The annual Easter Charity Cup competition kicked off today with 7-a-side football matches. The first day attracted over 800 participants, all braving the Port Moresby heat. Goals galore as regular and amateur footballers, including working-class people, showed their support for charity.
Well, it's not the Telecom National Soccer League, but the enthusiasm and skill here on show today at the Bicini grounds as the 2016 Easter Charity Cup competition officially kicked off here on Good Friday. And 56 teams across 5 different divisions, which include the men's, women's, mixed juniors, and of course the masters, all took part, showing us their skills in football.
We've been coming here just to get everybody out on the field, have a fun, and show the young people, what it's like to actively take part in sport, even though you are already past the age of active sports, but still come out and play like young people, enjoy yourselves, and live a healthy and physical life. Productive citizens of Papua New Guinea, but through this kind of activities, sporting activities, we would like to encourage more people of our age to come out, be active in life and in sports particularly. We are not old until we are in the box. Otherwise, happy Easter everybody. We're enjoying taking part with the young people.
Have you guys played today?
Yep.
What team are you playing for?
Puma.
Puma Energy. How many of you guys in the Puma Energy team?
I think 7.
Only 7?
Yeah, on the team we play 7. But we don't count everyone.
You don't count everyone? So you guys just like run in and play?
No. We go in 7 and play.
Ah.
Yeah.
And where are the rest of your teammates?
Over there.
show us your teammates?
Yeah.
Can we see the teammates, please? Those are very big teammates, don't you think?
Yeah.
Thanks, boys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Got it. Amidst the fun and laughter here this afternoon, the Easter Charity Cup for 2016 does have one purpose, and that is to raise funds for the various charity organizations here in Port Moresby City. Organizers have stated that every year they pick 3 random charities. This year, however, they haven't done so, but are hoping to by the end of the tournament. Jeremy Moggy, National TV Sports.
In the last 6 seasons, Hickory United qualified for the OFC Champions League as minor premiers every year since its inception, with the 11th successful minor premiership title for owners John Capinato and wife Vonnie. The road to success has never been easy, but with faith in God, it's the passion, drive and hunger that brought them this far. However, with Lae City grabbing the 2nd premiership title under coaching tactics of Peter Gunemba, dwellers have brought back some pride to the Morabians. They have stamped their mark in this season's hit-out, but with the OFC Championship looming, it's their pride that will push them to shine on the big stage alongside their main rival and one-time OFC champions, Hickory United. We continue with Chukai Sports. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome back to Chukai Sports. The National Softball Championships kicked off today at the Bissini Diamonds in Port Moresby. National Capital District is the host of the titles that has attracted teams from all over the country. Port Moresby Malonas, the reigning men's champs, and the Port Moresby Gold in the women's are defending their titles.
It was a game to watch as Port Malonas took on Pom Cox. Malonas proved their standings as champions, beating Cox 10-2. In other matches, NCD Meros beat Wewak 10-0, Pom Kakais beat Medang Fox 3-1, and Medang Kings beat Wewak 6-0. Tournament director Ralph Tarasomo says the first day of competition has been successful with many supporters.
So far so good on first day of competition, and we've started on time. And a couple of teams have not turned up, but we will confirm that by the end of business today to see if they're still going to be in the draws for tomorrow onwards.
Mount Hagen has made a return in this year's national championships, joining other teams.
Of course, not really new in a sense, but we acknowledge the coming back of Mount Hagen. They brought in the men's and women's team, and of course Wewak, who is one of our smaller centers. And we've got Lae Reds and Gold coming back in the men's. Medang Kings and Fox always posing a strong competition. And of course our Port Moresby teams, we've got 3 men's and 3 women's who's kept softball up and running. And we're very hopeful that this weekend everybody can be here in Port Moresby challenging out for the supremacy title.
The tournament is set to be a blast, with the winner taking home the title and shield. Elijah Levitt, National MTV Sports.
And in Lae, City United Whites have managed to defeat City United Blue in the first day of the Myrobes Easter Cup Challenge at the Lae football grounds this afternoon. Despite not many people turning up, it was a very entertaining match between both sides. In the first half, NSL Rapatona striker Oscar Joshua of City United opened the scoreboard with the first goal. Rival City United Blue made a comeback in the second half through NSL Wellgrease player Agi Moses, settling the score on 1-1. But the determined City United Whites scored again through striker Oscar, winning the game 2-1. And that ends Chukai Sports. I'll have the weather details after these messages.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
Your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. In the southern region, mostly fine for all centers. In the Moase region, a shower or 2 for Lae, Wewak and Vanimo, and some showers for Medang. In the New Guinea Islands, a shower or 2 for all centers. And in the Highlands region, a shower or two as well for all centres. That's it for this Good Friday, the 25th of March 2016. Enjoy the rest of this Easter. Good night.